Welcome to 4 p.m. Woo! Crazy. Okay, welcome to Mona. Those who have not been to Mona, welcome to Mona. My name is Dean Stevenson, and this 4 p.m. was my silly idea. So each day, if you were here this morning, you might. Who was here at 10 o'clock? Anyone? 10 o'clock? Okay, so if you did see me here, it was a blank. Well, I might not have been here at all. Might have been getting a coffee. But actually, no, it was a martini this morning because there's bars every year. It was. The page was blank this morning, so there was no music on the page this morning, and I started to write some music. So there's a cluster of new notes on this page, and I don't know, Nick. I don't know. Let's find out what it's like, because these musicians haven't seen it yet. Well, they have now, because they've just spread it out on their stand. So we're going to play it for the first time, which is what we do every day here at 4 p.m. It's a brand new piece each day. So every day, and today is the 423rd day, so 423 first times. Yay. Thank you. Please give it up for the quartet for today of Miranda, Phoebe, Caleb, and Nick. Right, so today I did write presto at the start, which means quick. Very quick. That's the idea. It was just lots of quick notes. So if you can see this side here, my score here on the screen will whiz by as we play it, as we make notes. If you can't see from that side, there is a paper copy of today's piece for any nerdy nerds who want to have a look. Don't take that home, I need that back. Right, so we're making many notes, many changes. There is a 4 p.m. drinking game. For those of you who found the bar just under the stairs, get yourself a drink. There's a game to be won. We're going to make lots of notes, and each time we stop, you'll watch the musicians touch their pencils and make notes. They love to make notes on their parts. So if you choose a musician at random, just one of the four, and every time they touch their pencil, you have a drink. All right, and we'll see how we go. Choose wisely. Just have a look at them now. Try and get a sense of who's going to make the most notes. Might not be the one who drinks the most, but makes the most notes. Okay, here we go. And then I'll come back with some questions and stuff later on. 423. Madness. Okay. Start there. These are the B's. Reading. How good? How clever? All right. Right. Okay. So there's some of the themes presented already. We'll play it again so you can get familiar with it as we bolt it together. Especially that dip bip bop bip ba-dum. That one's going to come back when it goes into 3/4. That one's here. There. Any questions from you? Who touched their pencil?
Yeah, I ticked something.
You ticked something, all right. There you go. If you chose Nick or Caleb, have a drink.
I chose Nick.
I chose myself.
All right. You want to do any of that again, or?
Let's keep going, I reckon.
Keep going?
If you want.
From letter D. Yep. Do E. Together, with violins. 2 violins. All right, we're going to get to the Allegro 71, 2 after 8, we're into a little 3/4. That was good. That was good. All right. Now they're making some notes, and Miranda touched her pencil. Have a drink if you chose, Miranda. Okay. We're not halfway through yet. We're putting it together now for those of you who saw 4 p.m. and thought, great, a funk band. I'm sorry, you're shit out of luck. It's a string quartet. This is a standard string quartet. Who's actually, like honestly, who's never heard a string quartet live before? Anyone? There's just a few? Okay, so there's a yes. It's great. So 2 violins, viola and cello. Phoebe, could you hold up your violin, please? And Caleb, hold up the viola. You see the difference now? One is bigger than the other. And then the cello is obviously that one. So there it is. I've been writing all day. I don't play any of those instruments. I just write for them. I thought to myself, here at 4 p.m, I know you suggested, David, that we have like a dice roll. So every day I would find out what I'm writing for. It could have been cello, flute, anvil and leaf blower, and I would just have to get here each day and write for that. But thank God that didn't happen. So the challenge is actually the opposite. If it's exactly the same 4 instruments. So it's a challenge to make the same 4 sounds fresh each day. So there it is. That's the bigger challenge than having a tuba or an anvil or indeed a leaf blower here show up at random. There's a yes. Any questions so far? Anyone? No? Okay. If anyone wants to ask me what my inspiration today was, I can't remember. I don't know. I honestly don't know where it started. No, I'm ready. Do you want to do any of the fasty bit again before H?
I just have a question.
A question.
Bar 48.
Bar 48, yep.
Is the last note of the bar meant to be flat? By minutes.
Oh, you've got an F flat. Sorry about that. That'll be, yes, E flat. E flat.
Yep.
Sorry, thank you. Wow.
Won't be your first mistake.
It wasn't my first mistake. Thanks for pointing that out, Miranda. And that's why we're friends. Okay. Yeah, okay. Where are we going to go from the Allegro? From H.
From H.
Slowing down.
Okay.
2 violins.
1, 2, 3.
Really overdo these. Exaggerate the forte pianos and make it really over the top. There's that melody you heard before. Hold it there for a second. I think what happens when we kind of bring a bit of that original material back at L, it stays kind of at the same tempo, which when we play it in a minute, it'll be a bit quicker than what it is now. I think. But stay slow, stay at L. Don't just use the material, but don't get quicker.
From L?
From L?
Yep.
Yes? Let's just try it. Jazz hands. Cool, okay. And now between O and P, we get back to the presto tempo.
And who has the first beat at O? Like
At O, cello.
And you have hits. Okay, Pete, you. I'll
Okay.
look at you. Yeah.
That's it. So when the cello does plucks the string, it's called pizzicato. Is that actually the Italian word for pluck?
Yes, I think so.
Does it mean pluck or pull, or what does it mean? Like if I was plucking a chicken in Italy, what I'd say, pizzicato la pollo? Is that what I would call it?
It's pretty short, yeah.
Is there any Italians in the room who can verify that? If I was plucking a chicken in Italy,
Yeah, I reckon.
would the act of plucking a chicken be pizzicato? No. No? No one gives a shit. Okay. Okay. Let's go from O, picking up tempo to P, presto against P.
Where are we going?
Sorry.
O.
Oh,
O.
yeah.
Now that is what happens when I should return to the original A material, but it's about 3 o'clock and I just wanted a drink, so I abandoned it. I have a little thing here that says art is never really finished. It can only be abandoned in an interesting place. At that last bar, I abandoned it for the bar. So there you go, that I ran out of time. That was the last bar. Okay.
40.
We've
40.
Got, Caleb was thinking do a DC back to the beginning then after we finish the...
And end where?
Dark upper, end at 40.
End of 40. Oh yeah? Back to where C to E. C to E?
No,
I was going at beginning to...
The beginning.
Beginning to end at 40. Or something.
We'll try it next time.
Oh yeah, to E maybe.
To E. Where did you say D? No.
Beginning to E.
Beginning to E. Okay. Beginning to
You
E.
want to do your return to...
That's a good idea.
And that's technically correct too, to do a DC. Duck upper.
Da capo.
Back to the head.
Yeah, back to the head. Da capo means go back to the start and then play to E. Okay, I'll put da capo. Everyone should be having a drink. You're right. Everyone have a drink because everyone's touching their pencils. Even me. You would choose me. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or queries they'd like to ask before we play today's piece all the way through? Yes. What's the difference between a question and a query?
One's fancier.
No idea. One probably involves, one's a directive, one's to a group. One's to individual, one's to a group. One you ask on the internet, one you ask when you're at nuts and bolts or trying to find the right sized nut for your bolt. No idea. What's the difference? Oh fuck, he doesn't know either. Oh, yeah, good question. Yes? What's the title of the piece? Today is called Day 423.
Queries.
423. Is there anything specific about the number 423 that comes to mind?
Waiting for a drink.
Waiting for a drink? What's 423? Oh, yeah. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, the time. 9, 4, you tell me. Is it nearly 423? No, it's 4:17. Okay, it's close. All right. right. Any got any? Okay. When we play all the way through, you can tell me what you think it suggests, what its title should be. Yesterday there was a guy who gave me this whole gull flying lighthouse storm. It was exactly what I was thinking. No, it wasn't. Okay, ready? You want to give it a crack?
Give it a crack.
Yeah? Okay, we're going to give it a crack from the top. Here's day 423. Yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah? Shall I sit here?
We'll be right.
Keep your hands to yourself.
You okay?
Yeah. Friend zone again.
Yeah, good.
Miranda, Phoebe, Caleb, Nick. They just did that. If there's one thing in common this weekend, lots of stabby pieces. Like, lots of that frightening stuff. Wow. Far out. That was crazy. 400. So where were we? What? Yes. Drama in A minor with a happy end.
Let's write that one down.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Was it? A? It wasn't even A. Fuck. Well, there you go. Drama in A minor with a happy ending. Happy ending. Happy ending, sir.
That's what every man wants.
Yes, a happy ending. Yes. Goodness me. Right. Now, for your listening pleasure, everyone, unless someone has a question or anything they'd like to offer about today's piece, other than boo, you could boo if you like, No? Okay. Should we play Thursdays? Here's a piece that I'm quite proud of this weekend. It's a short piece. The numbers were the inspiring bit because it was day 419. I took the 19 bit as I was writing it out, 419. And it was the 14th day of this season of 4pm, so I got the 41914, 41914, 1914, 1914. So I went back in time, not literally, but figuratively, and I thought about 1914. I thought of the outbreak of the First World War, and it was also a couple of years, like Elgar wrote his best stuff prior to that. So by the time 1914 came, he'd done his best stuff. But we think of Elgar as an English composer who wrote things that, you walk into war and then get carried out in a bag from a war too. So he's that guy. So, and it's got some echoes of Elgar. So here's Thursday's piece. Yep. It's called 1914, and I wrote it here on Thursday. Yes. Phoebe, Miranda, Caleb, Nick. So that was Thursdays. Thank you. As I said, this is the 4th season of 4 p.m. and after each season we go into the studio and record the days that were successful days. So there's 3 volumes of recordings you can get from me or upstairs at the shop. There's downloads and or a CD for whatever you prefer to listen on, because it's like, day 147, there you go. That was the War Ballad, pretty good one, and that one, volume 2. Day 20, day 20 was good. Early hit, that one. But there's also this with all 3 volumes in one thing. You can get that upstairs in absolute steal. Make sure you take that home. Now, we've got today's again, or we've got another thing to do because we have a distinguished guest here. As an example of how easy things can happen, don't think you have to have a whole plan whenever you pick up your paintbrush, pencil, hammer, lawnmower, whatever it is that you use to get your artistic kicks. I rocked up here because we're musicians, we don't arrive, we rock up. And I rocked up on a Monday and I asked staff, I said, what should I do? I have no ideas whatsoever, what should I do? And a learned colleague here, Mona colleague Donna, she said, write a tango. So I wrote a tango, as you do. This was day 345, and it was in May last year, and it's called Donna's Tango. Donna, everyone. Donna. Donna's Tango. There we go. It's glad you're here. This wasn't planned, but it's nice that you are here because you can find that one on volume 3. Okay. You know, fuck, what are the chances? Wow. Okay, so now we've got one piece left because, you know, you don't have to rush to catch the ferry just yet. It's okay. Finish your drink. Responsible drinking of alcohol. Now we can either play today's piece again or maybe Ingrid and Humphrey. What would you like to play? Does anyone care to hear today's piece again? Was anyone like fired up? The happy ending lady's gone. You want to hear today's piece again? Okay, today's piece again. And for those who don't have to catch a ferry, well, we'll play something else as well, because, you know, it's the last day of our very, very big weekend here at Mona. There is, as I said, there's some recordings you can get from me here or up at the shop. The 4 p.m. book is also my great contribution, what a dickhead, a contribution to the creative stuff. This is my book. I kept a journal for 150 straight days, sat here at the piano in the Nolan Gallery, and published them with some essays about creativity and all of the live audio. We record everything here, and you can access all of it. It's 11 hours just through that book, so that's something you can get to and take home. It's a heck of a read. Here is today's piece, and if you stick around, we might even treat you to another favourite. Here is 423. Thank you so much. Amazing. Miranda, Phoebe, Caleb, Nick, Circus Freaks. Circus Freaks. Thanks everyone. We'll play one more piece for you because we can, and you're still here, and it's great to see you here. Thank you so much. This piece was written on, what day was this one? Day 386. It was a Friday in August last year. I started to just write randomly, and then partway through I started to think the harmonies, for reasons I can't really explain, felt like a bit like black and white cinema kind of vibe. So I imagine, if you want to come and find a chair in front of the speakers, come and have a seat, please. Yeah, come over here, right here. Imagine you're watching Casablanca. Imagine the last scene when Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart are on the tarmac saying cheerio for the last time. The plane's going to take off. I don't know what the actual music is, but I think it should be this. This piece is called Ingrid and Humphrey. Yes. Thank you so much. Please keep going for Miranda, for Phoebe, for Caleb, and for Nick. Thank you, everyone. My name is Dean Stevenson. That's 4 p.m. for this week. The museum closes in 10 minutes. Take your time. Come and have a chat about the recordings of the book. Have a lovely week. It's been our pleasure. Thank you and good night.